What's something people don't realize about what it's like to be homeless? I've been legally homeless but not quite out on the street, and one thing I didn't realize before I was in that situation is how weird it can be to reintegrate back into normal life. After being in survival mode 247, safety starts to feel foreign. It takes a while to trust that any stability you bring back to your life won't just be taken away in a moment's notice and put you back to square one. It's cold. Pacing around in shelter for 6 hours in the night wearing a coat, hat and gloves but still feeling cold levels of cold, can't even sleep levels of cold, and if you do sleep you could lose your toes. That we don't always look homeless. I grew up homeless for a time, living on the street, in the car, hotels, you name it. At school it was so hard when they had to send paperwork via mail, and when they asked for a home address I genuinely did not know what to put. They didn't accept our P.O. box, so we had to make some BS up. Shit gets embarrassing when you have to constantly make excuses for why your friends can never come to your house. I was always properly dressed, homework always done, but I just didn't have a place to live. I graduate dental school this June. Statistically I wasn't supposed to make it, but here I am. What's even worse is my mom died in December. Struggle is so woven into our lives that we appreciate the small things. If you teach in NYC, so many of your kids will be homeless. They won't ever admit it, but we all know to look for signs. One of the giveaways is we are staying at a hotel. Where are homeless people supposed to go for a number 2? Logistically, I mean. Think about it. It's harder to get over any illness when you're homeless. Not to mention period problems. When I was homeless I died and let the cough I had for 6 months bring me down, but I saw people have major health problems. What did bring me down was not having access to period products. How much more dangerous it is for homeless women than men. The one time I was homeless, I remember a woman telling me not to wash or try to be clean, as that would attract attention to myself. The more disheveled and smelly a woman is, the more likely she is to be avoided and overlooked, which is important when you're sleeping on the street. Police don't take homeless women's claims of crime and abuse as seriously as housed women. How dangerous shelters can be. Also, if you grew up homeless, how scary and uncomfortable living in a house apartment can be. How vulnerable you feel. How damn expensive it is. Being clean, trench foot, you can never truly relax. The stress of constantly having to be aware of your surroundings is really taxing. That we have far more in common with them than we do with the wealthy. A clean toilet is a washtub. Other than how truly horrific it is to not have access to the very basic of needs. Hard to explain. Desperate people do desperate things. I don't think people truly know about the socioeconomics about how hard it is to dig yourself out of the situation. Some people think homeless people are homeless for a reason like not wanting to work, drugs must be involved, etc. This makes people look down on them. The resources used by the government are scarce depending on where you live. It's an entire can of worms that I'm not super qualified to sum up. People don't realize that we're all one bad decision away. We're not any better than anyone. How hard it is to feel truly starving. Edit. People think I'm only referring to places around the US, lol, zoom out, you're not the only country in the world.